Several major UK employers have been revealed to pay women on average at least 15% less than men per hour. The figures have been revealed after the government made disclosure mandatory for 500 of the biggest firms. At the airline EasyJet, women earn 52% less per hour than men overall. At the banking company Virgin Money, the difference is 33%. The firm with the biggest gap revealed so far is the women's clothing chain Phase 8. The mean hourly rate for female staff is 64.8% lower. The firm says men and women are paid equally in the same roles. They just have more men in higher paying jobs. Well, with me now is Kate Andrews, news editor for the Institute for Economic Affairs. Thanks very much for coming in. Nice to see you. What do you make of these figures?
I think they are deeply misleading. If anything, they are hurting the conversation around the gender pay gap. The way that the government is making these companies disclose their figures does not compare jobs like for like. This is so crucial if we're to actually understand if there's a gender pay gap, if women are getting paid less than men based on doing the same job. As these companies that are being accused of having massive gender pay gaps have rightly come out today and said, they are not. If you compare jobs like for like, men and women are getting paid the same. But that's not what's being reported, so you get these outrageous headlines about 52% gender pay gaps that simply aren't true.
The argument a lot of these companies are making is that men are paid more because they're in more senior roles. Is that justified? Shouldn't they be seeking to have more women in those senior roles and therefore earning more as well?
It's a great question, and let's look at the EasyJet example. So apparently EasyJet has a 52% gender pay gap. They have roughly 6% of their pilots as women, and they get paid almost 100K a year compared to the cabin crew, who get paid about 25K a year. That is slightly above the average of the number of female pilots in the UK. So if anything, EasyJet is slightly discriminating towards women and trying to pay them as much as they can. But you can't accuse EasyJet of discriminating against women when these pilots don't even exist. So there's an excellent example where that 52% figure is just wildly misleading. If anything, EasyJet is helping women, and they're trying to employ as many women as they can.
But that may not be an example that's relevant to many companies, because pilots are traditionally a male-dominated role.
That's the headline example today, isn't it?
It is, but then we've got other companies such as Virgin Money, such as Ladbrokes, such as Phase 8, who have a massive differential in the amount that men and women are paid. So again, shouldn't they be seeking to get more women in senior roles, and therefore there won't be this argument?
I would love to see more women in senior roles, but I think what you're tapping into is where we need to have a more thoughtful conversation about why women pursue different careers, make different choices. A lot of it is down to personal choice, and I don't think that's a problem to be solved. Some of it is societal. Women are still bearing the brunt of childcare and household chores, and women need to start having serious conversations with their husbands and partners and saying, look, I'm pushing back on this. You have to be a full-time dad or a part-time dad as well. That's, for us as a society, to tackle, and I think that's the harder argument. There's no evidence that employers, however, are discriminating against women. If you look at men and women moving down the same career paths with the same trajectory, if they follow them, they will do equally as well. So I think that figures like this are just moving us away from talking about how successful women have been in the workplace, closing that gender pay gap, and what we now need to do to actually help women in more serious issues like domestic violence and rape.
Okay, Kate Andrews from the Institute for Economic Affairs, thank you.
Thank you.